Hello, and welcome to Sight and Life's fifth elevator pitch contest, Climate Smart Nutrition, hosted by UNITLIFE. We truly hope you have been well during these chaotic and uncertain times. My name is Srujit Lingala, and I'm excited to be your host today. Today, we have 7 entrepreneurs who are passionate about their dream and 7 rock star judges who are experts in climate smart nutrition and innovation. Together, they tackle a mammoth challenge: ruthless effects of climate change leaving millions malnourished. The 7 startups today we see are at various stages of development: idea, prototype, and scale up. Of these 7, 2 are going to walk away with cash awards. $1,000 for the Audience Choice Award, determined by you, our viewers, and a grand prize jury award of $5,000 for the best pitch of the event. In addition, throughout this event, we also have prizes for you, the viewers. Look out for raffle questions at various points during the event. You have to answer the questions that will be posted on our Twitter handle @SightandLife, at SIGHTANDLIFE. Look for detailed instructions in the chat box below, and 4 lucky viewers will win an annual subscription to the Stanford Social Innovation Review. I now introduce you to our rockstar jury and ask them to share their wisdom with our finalists and audience. Let me turn to Dr. Alan Dangor. Dr. Alan Dangor is the Professor of Food and Nutrition, Global Health at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Alan, why do you think climate smart nutrition is essential?
Well, thank you very much, and I'm delighted to be here. I mean, at the moment, the world is reeling from a pandemic. And why are we reeling? Because there's a lack of preparedness. We did not plan, we did not think, we are not ready to respond to the pandemic. Is this going to be the same with climate change? Are we going to be unprepared for climate change and the impacts of climate change on food, nutrition, and health? We know what's going to happen. We know that environmental change will lead to declines in yields. We know that it's likely, so yields of all the major crops. We know that climate change is likely to lead to food insecurity. We know that climate change is likely, the additional social impacts of that may be migration and social conflict, especially in low and middle income countries. And we know that there will be an increase in inequalities, health inequalities as well. We cannot allow this to happen. We must be prepared, and that's why climate smart nutrition interventions are so essential. Thank you.
Thank you for reflecting on that critical importance of climate smart nutrition in the current times, Alan. Let me turn next to Asia Sidibe. Asia is the program manager at UNITLIFE. Asia, please share some words of wisdom for the finalists and all the young entrepreneurs in the audience.
Yes, hi Srujit, and thank you very much. I think so. The reason for UNITLIFE, one, to fight chronic malnutrition as an underfunded disease, and also because we are deeply convinced that more innovation can be used to not only raise funding, but also to solve the issue in countries affected by chronic malnutrition. And this is why we're honored to meet all these brilliant entrepreneurs today. We deeply convinced that entrepreneurship, especially in the agri sector, is really key to improving the life of people, especially in Africa. We have some young people here from Africa, and youth employment remains a challenge. So funding is a huge challenge. And yes, it's not easy to access capital in the regions where some of the innovators' work, especially microfunding at early stage of the project. So, you know, there are a lot of new initiatives. We see the private sector, we see philanthropies that look at the issue and offer training, mentorship. We see some financial assistance, and we see some new SME funds being launched. We at UNITLIFE, we think that youth entrepreneurs are really the future. We think that solutions for reducing chronic malnutrition will come from the people that we're going to be talking to today and from their communities. And we dedicated to get involved to support the local solutions and help get them to scale. So that's why we're very thankful to you, Sight and Life, for putting us in contact with all these brilliant minds. And in the coming month, we will be working to create a network of venture firms in the hope of increasing the interest in the issue of nutrition solutions coming from young entrepreneurs such as those we will talk to today.
Thank you, Asia. Youth entrepreneurs are indeed the future. Let me turn to Dr. Klaus Kramer. Dr. Klaus Kramer is the Managing Director of Sight and Life. Klaus, what innovation do you feel has been disruptive in nutrition and why? Innovation do you feel has been disruptive in nutrition?
I hope that you can hear me. I had some trouble listening the other speakers.
Yes, Klaus, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. In my opinion, ready-to-use therapeutic food, or RUTF, for the treatment of severely malnourished children, which was originally developed in the 1990s, has been a disruptive innovation in nutrition. RUTF is typically a peanut-based paste with vegetable oil, sugar, milk powder, and fortified with vitamins and minerals. The advantage of RUTF is its high nutrient content. It can be stored without refrigeration, even at high temperatures, and there's no need for water for preparation that could be contaminated in the context where these programs are implemented. And the child can eat the RUTF directly from the pouch. RUTF was a new category, and before RUTF was available, all severely malnourished children had to be referred to hospital, and now with RUTF they can be treated at home. In my opinion, the success factor for the innovation was the collaboration of a researcher, the inventor of RUTF, a social entrepreneur, the manufacturer, and the implementer from an NGO for scale up and field testing. Thank you.
Thank you, Klaus, for that very insightful and interesting glimpse into the nutrition innovation landscape and RUTF. Dr. Sufia Askari is the Director for Child Health and Development at the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, CIF. Sufia, scaling up innovation is often challenging. What do you recommend for entrepreneurs ready to take their innovation to scale?
Thank you, Sujit, and so glad to be here. Just few words of wisdom from my learnings. One is be bold and be brave and be ready to fail. And when you fail fast and fail cheap and learn. Two things to remember when you're taking innovations to scale. Number one, no idea is perfect. It becomes perfect when you implement it perfectly. Second, it's never about taking an innovation to scale. It's always about solving a problem. Let that be your North Star. Thank you very much and all the best for today.
Thank you very much, Sufia. I'm sure our finalists and entrepreneurs will take those very powerful insights back with them. Dr. Namokolo Kovic is the Senior Research Coordinator, International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI. Namokolo, what opportunities in nutrition do you see in the context of the current pandemic?
Well, thank you very much for having me on this, and welcome to all the contestants. Well, with the pandemic, really, it has arrived at a time when we were already beginning to question our food systems in their ability to address both undernutrition and overweight and obesity and related problems. And COVID, what it has done is shown us how important that is, because both those that are undernourished and those that have non-communicable diseases are very susceptible to the problems of health that COVID brings. Now, essentially what this has done is made our job easier as nutritionists to talk about double duty interventions for different forms of malnutrition. And therefore, in spite of being a very difficult experience, it can become an eye-opener and a chance for us to come back building better and addressing all forms of malnutrition for everybody, especially for the poorest in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you for those insightful words and pointing us towards opportunities in times of uncertainty. Dr. Martin Bloom is the Director of Center for a Livable Future at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Martin, how do you think that nutrition will be improved from a nutrient perspective?
Yeah, thanks, Sharid. Well, first of all, happy to be part here of the jury, an important starting point for many, I think, young people, particularly in low and middle income countries. So my point of view is that I have worked for 20, 30 years in low middle income countries and focused a lot on undernutrition. And yes, we have changed the language about, all forms of malnutrition. But the last 3 years, I've focused much more on overnutrition because working in the US and very much in the domestic field here. But I am also very, very concerned about what I've seen. I'm part of the EAT advisory board for a couple of years. And what I see is that there's a lot of attention to climate, including what I do myself with my institution. But, there are different forms of malnutrition. And when we talk about undernutrition, there should be a focus on nutrient content because kids need nutrients to prevent stunting and cure, in fact, acute malnutrition. Well, in fact, the problem for us when we talk about overnutrition is, in fact, it's actually dietary quality from a very different perspective. It's more looking into, fruits and vegetables and a lot of other things. I'm not saying there's completely a disconnect, but a lot of the issues focusing on, for example, lower animal source food, which is essential, is very focused on what's needed in the US. And some of the work we have done recently show very clearly that if you want to improve the diet, for example, in Indonesia, you need to, the climate impact will increase because the quality of the food is not adequate. And I think it's really important to understand the local problems, the first step, because stunting is the first step in the prevention of undernutrition, for overnutrition. And I feel there is what we have learned in the field of HIV/AIDS, and I worked about more than 10 years in this field, is that know your epidemic, understand the global problem of food systems, but at the same time understand that you cannot tackle the problem at the same time. Stunting needs to be prevented, and that needs animal source food, and it needs the right micronutrients. And I think it's really important to understand that because I see that, in fact, I feel that the North is taking over by healthy food, but healthy food doesn't mean that you can prevent stunting.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin, for bringing in your decades of experience and shining the spotlight on the Global South. Kalpana Bisabathani leads the technology and entrepreneurship domain at Sight and Life. Kalpana, what makes a good pitch?
Thanks, Rajat. According to me, a good pitch has three main elements. One, there's precise content. Two, clarity. And three, confidence. On one, that's content. So don't begin with the product first approach. That is, don't say my product has an amazing AI platform and Internet of Things for farmers. The investor would think, oh, this person is in love with technology and has no clue about the users or the customers. So instead, lead your pitch with a customer-centric approach. That is, share the pain points of your customers, show how your product makes their lives better. Do you have a clear path on how you would produce your product and deliver it to your customer? Then you quantify your market and then make a plan to make your model sustainable. The second point, clarity. Don't use jargon, use as simple words as possible. And if you can't, you keep working on your pitch till you can. And finally, confidence. No one knows your product or your business model better than you, finalists. Be emphatic and speak with confidence. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Kalpana. I'm sure all of our finalists today will be abundantly having all of those qualities, but let's see if they do. As you can see, today's jury is an eclectic mix of investors, professors, practitioners, influencers, and thought leaders with a wide-ranging expertise across food, climate, nutrition, technology, and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any better than this. We are grateful and extremely excited to have such a stellar jury panel with us today. Thank you. The EPC was designed to support young entrepreneurs and early stage innovations. Our finalists today come from the food and the feed industry, environment, and renewable energy sectors, all of them aiming to mitigate the effects of climate change and malnutrition. They represent the deep conviction, the immense potential, and the vibrant energy of the millennials and the Gen Z. Each entrepreneur today has 5 minutes to present, followed by a 3-minute Q&A with the jury. During the Q&A session, you, our audience members, will see a poll window flash in front of your screens where you give your first impression of the pitch you just heard. After all the finalists present, you will then be able to vote for your favorite pitch for the Audience Choice Award. With that, let's go to our pitches. Our first contestant today is Melissa Kartito from Indonesia. Melissa recently finished her undergraduate studies in nutrition at the Gajah Mada University. Melissa has a smart, planet-friendly packaging idea for nutritious foods. Let's hear from her.
Hi, I'm Melissa Kasito from Gamma Melindang team, Indonesia. Judges and audience, our world is getting hotter. Our world is also getting more crowded. Unfortunately, the world is not getting bigger. The size of land may shrink due to the melting of Arctic ice. By 2050, there will be 9.8 billion of mouths to feed. Our food supplies will be under much greater stress than it is today, as demand will be higher up to 60%. Now the question is, do we have enough to feed people in the future and today? Yes, we do. But why do people still starve? The key issue is in preserving the food that we have produced, so that they can be distributed post-harvest until it reaches the consumer's plate. This will also ensure that during the dry season, there is continuous food supply. And therefore, we can also minimize the food loss and food waste in the world. Indonesia is a tropical country with high humidity, and rising temperature by climate change significantly shorten the shelf life of perishable products. Therefore, honorable judges and audience, we developed the innovation of melindang spray coating. The word melindang actually comes from two words, melinjo, that is a tropical plant easily found in Indonesia, and udang, or in the Indonesian word for shrimp. Now, melinjo represents the waste in the land, as Indonesia is the 5th biggest agricultural country in the world, while the shrimp represents the waste in the sea, as Indonesia is a maritime country with the largest archipelago in the world. Now, from these two waste products, we get the antioxidant, which works as the components, and the base, that is chitosan, from the shrimp skin. And what we get is extract nanoparticles, that is a liquid ready to be sprayed until foodstuff. The process to make these are homemade and can be easily done from local household and small medium enterprises. We have worked with panels of experts and mentors to ensure the technical feasibility and the novelty of the product, because we realize that our product is still in ideation process. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why is it important? Now, imagine for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, that you are starving, there is food in front of you, but you know the food is rotten and not edible to be eaten. Now, this is what happens in lots of rural areas and the most vulnerable populations, because there is very little means to preserve the products. Some of these people do not even have a refrigerator. So, modern technologies like vacuum packaging are even out of question. Now, with $3 or less, that is 4,000 rupiahs of 90 milliliters, the spray can extend up to 3 until 4 weeks of shelf life for up to 1 month, that is about 40 kilograms of perishable food products. And therefore, we can minimize the need for plastic use and also minimize food loss and food waste. And should we get the award tonight, we have also have the vision of making a village in which we can empower the fishermen of shrimp, farmers of melinjo, and also the youths, or Karang Taruna, we say in Indonesian, to help manage this product. So that is a win-win solution, ladies and gentlemen. Our team gets the mass production, distribution, and the market of the Gama Merindang spray, while we also help these people to get employment and also have additional income. This is the money allocation. As you can see, we have also allocated for research and development, licensing of products, to build the village, I have said in the previous slide, and also for the market. And this is even the more detailed ones. Now, ladies and gentlemen, judges and audience, I can assure you that by choosing us will be the best choice, because we not only achieve our goal of minimizing plastic use and eradicating poverty-related malnutrition, we also help with reducing the poverty, as we have said, by making the pilot project village. And this also in regards to the 20th of September commemoration, that is the International Day of Food Loss and Food Waste. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you for that fabulous pitch, Melissa. You will now see a poll on your screens. Participate in the poll and tell Melissa what you thought of her presentation. Also, do not forget to comment in the chat box and let her know how much you loved her pitch. Dear jury, we are now open for Q&A. You can raise your hands, the virtual hand raise, and then we can start with the questions. I see that Martin has a question. Martin, please go ahead and ask your question. You're muted, Martin.
Thank you for the excellent presentation. I'm just wondering, but maybe I missed it. So can you explain me a little bit more about how this actually will help the storage problem? Like, you know, what is the technical basis for, in fact, the project? I understand what you're using, but not how it works.
Hi, Martin. Can you please repeat the question? Am I audible?
Yeah, so I would like to know a little bit more about the mechanisms, how in fact this project will be successful, and not about the methodology of the product. Like, you know, how does it work?
All right, may I also share my screen to give more understanding for that one? Okay, so in our products, or our main project is we will involve partners, that is we involve Universitas Gadjah Mada as our lab, and then we will inform the Ministry of Trade to ensure that it is already licensed. And then for our customers, we also work with the sellers of food and then also the farmers. So the main problem in Indonesia for the about this is that there is very problems in the distribution. So in the supply chain for the foods, there is very complicated supply chain from the farmers to the people, and therefore we need to preserve the food so that they can stand this value supply chain, so we can also decrease the price. Therefore, should be in this project be implemented, we are sure that this will help in decreasing the malnutrition problems, because people will get easier access to the fruits and vegetables, and also protect, and then also helping them to get also employment. Now, if you're asking about also the technicalities of this product, that is how the shrimp and the melinjo helps with preserving the food products, then it is this, because both of them. So for the shrimp, there is also the chitosan, there is also the base for the coating, and then we strengthen the coating with the elements of the melinjo, because the melinjo has antioxidants and also have antimicrobials. Therefore, we created strong food packaging, edible food packaging, that ensures this product stands the long value supply chain of foods in Indonesia.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Melissa. We have time for one more question. I see Asia's hand up. Asia, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, please?
Sure. Hi, Melissa. Great presentation. So, can you clarify for me, the product will be applied to the food? Your innovation will be applied to the food products by the farmers. What is the mechanism to ensure that it's actually going to be done, and how you ensure that you have a continuous flow of the product to the farmers? Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Asia. Thank you for your question. So we have also consulted with experts and mentors, and they have mentioned that if you want to launch a product in rural areas, the main problem is to educate the people. So in educating the people, our strategy is to first making them realize the value of this product, that is to help them save money. So most people are also very concerned about their money and income, and when they have already convinced of this value, they will easily use them and then create a good positive word of mouth. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Melissa.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you very much. Next, before we go next, I request you to fasten your seatbelts, the audience members, because we're traveling now all the way from Indonesia to Ghana. Dennis Nyarko, our next finalist today, is an undergraduate student from the African Leadership University. His clever innovation is at an idea stage. Dennis is proposing to combat overfishing by farming flies. Let us see how.
Hi, my name is Dismas Kiselun, founder and CEO of SolarFiz. So let me introduce you to a couple of small-scale farmers who are my friends here in Kenya. So this is Esther and Dunge, and
Sorry, we seem to have a little bit of a technical glitch. We're just getting out Dennis's presentation. Just give us a short 30 seconds.
My name is Dennis, and in the next 5 minutes, I'll be presenting to you how humanity could survive with the help of bugs. But before I start, I would like to ask you, have you ever thought insects could save us? Probably not. We at After Energy are working to make this a reality. Our mission is to leverage on the power of insects to transform nearly any kind of organic waste into two main products: protein feed for animals and fertilizers. We are very disturbed by two types of food losses and food waste trends in Ghana. First, about the fish. Fish comprises 60% of a Ghanaian protein diet. 90% of fish stocks are overexploited, and you probably heard about many of the issues associated with that. But what you may not know is a third of all the fish that we take out of the ocean goes towards making animal feed, which is astonishing. The inefficient fish value chain makes fish very expensive and unaffordable for the vulnerable. At the same time, Ghana generates 61% of organic waste, which amounts to 3 million tons of waste per year, emitting millions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now we ask ourselves two questions. How can we capture value from organic waste, store it, and use it as protein based in animal feed? The second is, how do we make the feed system more efficient so that nutritious foods such as fish can be made more affordable, especially for the malnourished? The good news is we found a solution: the black soldier fly larvae. These are incredible insects. They're actually one of the world's most efficient and has a high waste to biomass conversion rate, and is able to reduce waste up to 80%, making it a novel approach for bio-waste conversion. Not only are they hungry, they contain a complete amino acid and protein profile that has been shown through studies to be an efficient replacement for fish meal. Just a year ago, the government of Ghana had placed a ban on ocean fishing due to overexploitation of fish stocks. In my quest in understanding the supply and demand gaps and how they can be plugged, I spoke to fish farmers and learned that imported feed costs them a lot and affects their profit and thus their income. Feed alone contributes 70% of their production cost, and fish meal is the primary contributor to this cost. I realized that this is a critical pain point for the farmers and set about finding a solution that is local and not reliant on import, a solution that is climate smart. And this is how After Energy was born. We identified 4 customer segments that will benefit from our insect meal: aquaculture businesses, feed manufacturers, poultry, and local farmers. The unique value After Energy brings to its customers is providing them locally produced, high quality, and reliable animal feed at affordable price. This will help our customers lower their production costs, reduce supply chain risk, and in turn increase their profit margins. Our retail price per kg of larvae is $1.99 with a cost price of $0.68 kg. With a yearly produce of about 9,600 kilograms, we can make a 57% profit margin annually, making our business really profitable and scalable. Within our first year of operation, we will have converted 112 tons of organic waste into over 10 tons of dried larvae meal, and this will result in 15 tons of CO2 prevented from being released. This is equivalent to removing 4 average cars from the street for a year. Our solution emits fewer to no greenhouse gas and requires less land and water, making it more sustainable than other livestock farming. The team is composed of 5 outstanding young people from 3 different continents sharing the same passion. After Energy's team is made up of industry experts, technology experts, business experts to read the numbers, and engineering and environmental engineers. I strongly believe that nature is the biggest tool in the fight against global warming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Viewers, the poll is now open in front of your screens. Show how much you loved his pitch and do comment in the chat box. Dear jury, we are now open for Q&A. I see that Namukolo Kovic has a question for Dennis. Namukolo, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes, thank you, Dennis, for that great idea. My question is, could you give us an idea of how you are going to collect the biological waste in enough quantities and frequently enough, given it will be scattered all over the place? Thank you.
Okay, so we're looking to source waste from breweries because, like, we were also considering waste from restaurants and hotels, but we realized that people they don't separate them. So when we get waste from breweries, that would be, we don't have to go through the separation process. So we'll be getting waste from breweries, people that make pito, from people that make pito from millet. So we'll also be getting like wheat bran waste and millet mash waste.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. I see Alan's hand raised. Alan, do you want to ask your question?
Just a quick question. Thanks very much. That was a great presentation. Just a quick question about the production of the larvae themselves, the environmental and economic cost of that. I mean, I imagine you have to have a producing factory for them. I mean, how does that work?
Okay, so we'll be setting up a small scale facility. Actually, we're not looking to start off like with what we intend to do, but we'll be starting off with like a small pilot facility to improve the processes and know more about how like it really works. So that is currently our plan. And as time goes on, we'll set up like a facility. We're also looking into like using trailers so that we don't have to spend so much on the facility, so that we just like use trailers.
Great.
Great, thanks.
Containers.
Thanks, Dennis. I see Klaus's hand raised. Klaus, do you want to ask your question?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Dennis, for your very nice presentation. Dennis, the feed producer, they need a standardized product. And how are you going to standardize your output based on the different qualities of the input you're using for your insect feed production?
Can you like repeat that? I didn't quite catch.
No, it's about standardizing the product. You have different qualities of input. Does that always yield to the same standard product for the feed industry?
So we're like the product, it's like it's already existing. There've been series of research and there have been series of research on the use of larvae to replace fish meal. Actually, about the waste, if I should talk about the waste, there've been series of research also that people are actually using the breweries because they contain like really high amount. They're very nutritious. So like that's why we were looking more at breweries too. So actually, there is no effect on using fish meal or the larvae to replace fish meal. According to studies, it works fine. If that answers your question.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dennis. With that, the first raffle question of the event is up on Sight and Life's Twitter handle, @SightandLife, @SIGHTANDLIFE. The question: which nutritious and climate smart food features on this year's elevator pitch contest flyer? Again, which nutritious and climate smart food features on this year's EPC flyer? In order to answer, follow Sight and Life's Twitter page, like the post, and comment your answer on the tweet. Detailed instructions are in the chat box below for your convenience. Moving on, our next finalist comes from Zimbabwe. Esnath Divasoni specializes in converting local insects to nutritious delicacies, while at the same time empowering smallholder farmers in rural communities. Esnath's commendable innovation is at a prototype stage. Let's hear it from Esnath.
Hi there, my name is, and I'm the founder of Glorified Community Empowerment Trust, GSET. We are providing a climate smart solution to nutrition. GSET is dedicated to the production of insects, both human and animal consumption. It is our mission to promote healthier communities through the farming of insects. We are going to launch the program in 2 communities, Marondera and Nyanga. These communities, we belong to them. We grew up there, and we know the challenges. They have been with us through the time that we have been growing, and we understand them. That's why we are going to start the program in these communities. The challenge that we are facing mainly in these communities is because 50% of the families are food insecure, and a lot of families cannot afford a balanced diet daily. 1 in every 3 children suffer from malnutrition due to the lack of proteins, vitamins, and other essential nutrients. And there are severe standing rates in these communities in Marondera and Nyanga, with 1 in every 3 children being stunted. Our solution is local. We are going to train farmers to set up commercial cricket farms. With these farms, we are going to be producing products that will be pegged, which will be cricket flours, cookies, and other nutritional snacks. It is normal for us to forage for insects during the lean season to supplement our diets. And this only happens because insects are seasonal, and crickets are part of the insects that are mainly consumed and mainly foraged. By farming them, we make them available throughout the year. We can revolutionize the rural communities and the farming lifestyle through the farming of insects. We have chosen insects because, like I said, they are part of our culture, and they have more nutrients than chicken, which is the mostly consumed source of protein, and they demand less labor. They are climate smart in 3 ways. They need half the feed and 10 times less water than chickens. They can produce a lot in a very small space, that making them having less impact to the environment. During the end of last year and in January this year, we conducted meetings with the community, and they're interested, and we are ready to start training our first cohort of farmers. Our model is simple. We are doing experiments on our farm, and we'll take the skills that we gain from our farm and train farmers. The farmers will then later train 5 other farmers from each farmer, and who buy surplus from these farmers and who process them. And we have partnered with local schools to ensure that we provide them with nutritional snacks for the children. We have finished the proof of concept. Our pilot farm is operational in Marondera, and we are now looking at other insects that can be consumed by the community. And on the pilot farm, we harvested 15 kgs of fresh insects, and this was just before the country went into lockdown due to the COVID pandemic, and we ended up doing barter trade to sell the harvested crickets. This means even during the time that farmers do not have a way to reach markets, they can actually swap for other materials that they need in the community. Our cost structure is simple. We need material to buy the startup kits and the processing equipment, and we'll get income from the sale of crickets and the insect powders and the processed food. If we get the award money, we'll use it to develop an end-to-end business model, and the proceeds will be reinvested. I am part of the community, and I am dedicated to developing these communities. It is part of what I feel that I should do. Thank you very much.
Wow, that is a passionate pitch from Esnath and a solution coming in from the community. Polls are open. Please do vote and show your love in the comment section. Dear jury, we are now open for Q&A. I see a question coming in from Kalpana Bisabatuni. Kalpana, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, thanks, Rajit. Esnath, terrific presentation, and you have a very inspiring model. I took away 2 key elements of your model. One is that communities can self-sustain even during this pandemic. And the second is that you have few lead farmers, and each lead farmer can train 5 more farmers. So 2 questions. One is, how difficult is it to train other farmers to build and operate cricket farms? And the second question is, if you don't get any surplus insects to process, how do you plan to sustain GSET? Because then you would have no revenue.
Thank you very much, Kalpana. The first question on training. Cricket farming is simple. It needs very few resources. And after sharing skills with the lead farmers, doing trainings on the pilot farm and on their own farms, we ensure that they have the necessary skills. I'm already developing a manual that they can refer to after the training, and we will be hands-on with the first group of farmers to ensure that our training can be able to sustain them even when we are not there for us to be leading them. And on the second question, in terms of sustainability, GSET is going to continuously developing and expanding the model farm, so it will also become operational. So besides from buying from the farmers that we train, we are also going to be producing from our farm. Thereby, it's a continuous cycle where we produce and we sell. And if the farmers have excess, we'll get the excess from them, and then we'll process together. Thank you.
Thank you, Esnath. I see another question from Martin. Martin, did you want to ask your question? Unmute yourself, probably. Thank you.
Well, first of all, Esnath, thank you for this really exciting project. It's really cool. I have a question, like, I'm very concerned nowadays about snack food, like, independent whether the snack is actually nutritious or not. So it's really, of course, interesting what you are producing, because it should replace, or at least should consumed instead of like other animal source food, like, but you said poultry or other forms of meat. I was wondering that the product you are generating, is that used during, for example, dinner or lunch, or is it used as a snack?
Mainly, we consume insects as part of our meals, our breakfast, our lunch, or our dinner. In Zimbabwe, we have this staple diet, which is sadza. It's made of maize meal, and it needs something that is salty or to accompany it. So when we are consuming insects, we use them for that specific meal. And the snacks are actually part of an innovation that I'm adding onto what we can use the insects for. Because I have seen we can make different kinds of products. We can make biscuits, we can make nutritional bars, which can be consumed now as snacks. But initially, the part of the community that they are going to benefit from is to use them on the main meals, like lunch and dinner.
Great. Thank you. I see Namukolo's hand raised. Namukolo, do you want to ask your question?
Yes. I think my question is actually similar in some way to what Martin asked. Being that the community actually consumes the insects, they are accustomed to eating the insects in a particular way. And in particular, the way in which they are consumed now is actually more healthy than going the snack route and the cookies and what have you. Have you looked at a broader perspective for nutrition and what negative impact it would have on the current positive nutrition impact you would have from insects if they were consumed as the communities are used to consume them, when you are introducing products that might actually bring in aspects of poor nutrition in a product that could actually do better? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. We are looking at partnering with people who are in the health industry. I actually have a friend who is doing research in nutritional snacks using insect powders. So part of your research is going to guide us on how we can move forward in terms of the snacks corner, if we are to continue with the snacks corner. But we are looking at it from all angles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Esnath. Time's flying fast. We are already at the fourth pitch. Rio Luandra is a master's student from the Wageningen University in Netherlands. Rio has developed an absolutely yummy insect-based seasoning with a secret flavorful ingredient for the Indonesian market. His innovative discovery is at a prototype stage. Let's hear from him.
Hello everyone. Okay, let me introduce you to our friend Ani. Ani is a high school student from Indonesia and she's 17 years old. And let me now tell you the story of Ani. One day, she's going to the school and having her class. However, during her class, she cannot concentrate and feeling unwell. Because of that, she decided to consult with the school's doctor during her break time. Then she went to the clinic and met her school doctor. The doctor did a quick checkup and asking some questions on Ani. Based on his diagnosis, Ani has developed anemia symptoms. He found out that her blood level was low because she always snacking instead of having a proper meal during the mealtime. He advised to Ani to improve her diet. And do you know that in Indonesia, there is 1 out of 4 female teenagers are suffering from protein and macronutrients deficiencies and also with anemia on the same population and on the same age group. Because of this problem, Ani has decided to improve her diet by eating more green vegetables. However, as she loves snacking and doesn't like the taste of vegetables, she needs condiment to make her vegetables tastier. Another fact is that according to WFP, the majority of Indonesian young adults like Ani need condiments with strong flavors to consume their healthy food. So let's go back to the story of Ani. After her school, she decided to go to the supermarket and looking for her condiments. She tried to check every labels written on the condiment products. She found that there are a lot of tasty seasonings. However, none of them is environmental friendly and providing sufficient amount of micronutrient. Until she found Enake. She looked at the label and Enake contained 15 grams for 10 servings and providing a sufficient amount of her daily iron requirement, which is 5 to 7%, and also 4.5 to 5.5% of the total zinc requirement. And the real reason why Ani chose these ingredients, because it is made from 3 promising, rich nutrient, yet sustainable ingredients. The first one is the indigenous herbs from Southern Asia called moringa. It is high in protein, iron, and calcium. The second one is cricket, which is the sustainable protein source, also high in zinc and iron. And the third one is the seaweed, provide the same nutrient profile like cricket and moringa, but seaweed provide the key component for our product, which is the umami taste. And every ingredients here are having their key role in creating better environments and anti-climate changing. Why is that? Because moringa mitigating the climate change by absorbing carbon dioxide and supporting climate-smart agriculture according to FAO. And cricket, it is producing less greenhouse gases than the normal protein source we consume, like cattle, meat, and poultry. And it is requiring lesser land, water, and energy use. And the third one is the seaweed, which helps in conserving the ocean environment and reversing the ocean acidification. The good news is Ani can sprinkle Enake not on top of her veggies, but also in any food she wants, from the Asian to the Western cuisine. It is very convenient, locally produced, and there are 3 flavors available for her, chili, garlic, and also the herbs. And she also loves the feature of Enake because it is no preservatives and it is not containing chemical additives. On top of that, Enake is tasty. Everyone can enjoy Enake with any foods they want, from any culture and from any different type of groups. And the good things is our product is very affordable. It's only costed $1 per bottle. And why is that? Because our production cost is very low, with the price breakdown as the follows. And the good note is that our price per serving is only 10 cents. So this is our timeline. We have developed our ideation from the last February and developed some prototyping and market validations. Right now, we're looking for possible partnership and also to develop the pilot plant production. So that's why we need more funding And from the previous journey, we also made some competition to start a small funding and helps to develop our small projects step by step into the successful project. So right now, we kindly ask for any supports and feedbacks to make our plans come true from everyone. Thank you for your attention, and remember, NAK is more than just a seasoning. Don't forget to follow our Instagram at NAK_ID.
Great. Thank you very much, Rio. We know the drill by now. Go ahead and get started on the polls and comment in the chat box. And may I take a moment now to give a huge shout out to our audience members. Your love for our finalists is overwhelming and very evident in the chat box. Thank you so much and keep it coming. Dear jury, we are now open for Q&A. I see a question from Sufia. Sufia, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Thanks, Sujit and Rio. Excellent pitch. I really liked the way you presented through a story, which is also always helpful to understand, how you're trying to kind of contextualize and solve local issues. My question is more about, condiments, they are usually consumed into very small amounts. So how do you think that it can meaningfully solve any nutritional issues?
Thank you for the questions. Our products, basically, yes, you're right. Our condiments have a really low amount of nutrition content. However, our product here, it's trying to enticing consumers to understand that right now the urgency of eating sustainable food products. So we know there are crickets, there are everything, they are really healthy, they are really nutritious. And also with the problem with the Indonesian young adults right now, they don't like to eat nutritious foods because they want some condiments on it. And basically our products try to bridge this gap to introduce the promising future of the sustainable ingredients and try to get them common with their palate of taste of cricket and everything in convenient and tasty way. So basically our product in the future will try to work with some culinary expertise in Indonesia. So in that way we can help them to consume their main food. Yeah, that's my answer. Thank you, Sophia.
Great, thanks, Rio. I see that Dr. Klaus Kramer had his hand raised.
Yeah, thank you. Nice presentation, Rio. Two questions. Are you considering to add more nutrients like vitamins and minerals to the product in the future, in the next generation? And the other question is, how are you going to deal with food safety? There have been some reports about contamination of moringa, for instance, with heavy metals and mycotoxins. Is that already part of your planning to have the food safety aspect checked? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your question, Klaus. So the first question, it's yeah, for the safety aspects, of course, we already look into it. We check our standard of our ingredients according to the Codex Alimentarius, and we are looking for the edible source of the and food grade ingredients from the local producers. So we are really selecting them very well. We found some producers that they already get some permission from our local like food safety agency, something like that. We call it BPOM. And of course, we will try to approach them to ensure that our products are really safe. And of course, you said that our products can be added for more vitamins and stuff. Yes, it can be added in the future. It's really versatile, as I said, our products. And up until now, there are no toxic cases for eating moringa, and yeah. So that's why I'm really confident that our products have a good, bright future for Indonesia.
Great. I saw Alan's hand raised. Alan, did you want to ask a question?
Great. Well, thanks. That was a great presentation. I just wonder, following up from the earlier question, really, which was about nutrition, can you really convince me that this is an innovation that's going to reduce the environmental impacts of the food system? It seems to me it's a lovely idea. I'm sure it's very tasty, but it's the amount of carbon dioxide emissions or land use or whatever that I mean, in fact, you're adding to those emissions because you're providing a condiment to eat in addition to the existing foods. So whilst it might be more environmentally sustainable than other condiments, it is still an addition. So, how strong is your case on the environment?
Yes, thank you for the question. So for the cases of the environment here, as on the presentation we presented, the moringa and the cricket itself, when you're growing moringa, it's supporting a climate smart agriculture. And for the cricket itself, yeah, we know that our products is not really a main source of protein and stuff like that, but our product is like the bridging. And to be honest, our products are really inspired by the furikake. It's the Japanese products from 19th century ago, because during the World War, they are suffering from the malnutrition of calcium. And then this Yoshimura, the pharmacist, tried to make the grounded seasonings that suitable for their palate. So yeah, so that's why our idea are inspired from that. Yeah, and to one last point, that our product breeds people to eat insect and eat sustainable ingredients in the future. So that's a key point why we're making in the condiments.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Rio. Next up, Dismas Kisilu. Dismas has built an exceptional ecosystem of smart farm technologies to increase the shelf life of nutritious foods, such as fruits and vegetables in rural Kenya. He has a full-fledged company ready to scale. Let's hear from Dismas. Nola, we're not able to see your screen.
Meaning they get. Hi, my name is Dismas Kisilu, founder and CEO of SolarFreeze. So let me introduce you to a couple of small-scale farmers who are my friends here in Kenya. So this is Esther and Dunge and Grace. So together they are small-scale farmers based in Kenya, and they grow mostly fresh fruits and vegetables. So they have one huge problem. Every season, over 45% of their produce goes to waste, meaning they get less money for their produce, as well as the people in the urban centers don't get nutritious fruits and vegetables. So this challenge is driven mainly because small-scale farmers such as the one I highlighted lack access to productive use assets such as cold storage and preservation to help them store their produce for longer and get better pricing, as well as give more nutritious food to consumers. So what does SolarFreeze do? We provide a walk-in cold storage as a service. So simply meaning that small-scale farmers pay as little as 10 Kenya shillings to access our service for cold storage for a day. This in effect reduces post-service loss while giving consumers in the city predictable produce at consistent prices. The challenge of post-service loss is huge, where over 310 billion goes to waste, especially in developing countries such as Kenya. And the biggest part is that the most nutritious foods, such as fruits and vegetables, are the ones which are majorly affected because they are temperature sensitive, and most small-scale farmers lack access to preservation and cooling. Our customer value proposition is simple. So For fruits such as potatoes, I'll give you a good example where early on this year it was going for 20 US dollars for a sack of potatoes. The same sack of potatoes is going for well over 80 US dollars. So potatoes are a good candidate for preservation and cooling because they can last as long as 9 months, giving farmers a chance to level up the glut as well as get better pricing in the market. So which in effect means that consumers can get consistent potatoes and reducing the need for them to cut it out in their family diet. So our product, as you can see, and can store 400 crates in a season. And this in effect means that we can break even within 18 months of our production out there. So normally right now we have 16 containers like this, serving over 3,000 farmers in a season. And our model, as I highlighted earlier, is a pay-as-you-store system where you pay as little as 10 Kenya shillings using your mobile money, providing you a chance to store your produce for longer and connect with better markets. So we also have a component where farmers can connect with big retailers and shops in the urban cities, consistently giving them a good price and an output that they can rely on. We also use smart sensors to tell us about the location and the temperature of our units in the ground, giving us a better data insights for the farmers to have as well as for our back-end office. Our competitive advantage, as I highlighted, is a pay-as-you-store model, meaning that you simply come and you pay for as long as you want, similar to an Airbnb where it's just a service. You don't own the house. We also connect the farmers to the market using our app, meaning that farmers can get access to quality buyers who are consistent, and also people in the urban slums can be guaranteed of quality food produce. Our team is made up of engineers, I being the founder, and also agricultural experts. Our traction so far, we have served over 7,000 consumers in the urban slums, providing them with nutritious food and output. Thank you.
Great. Polls are open. Please do vote and do comment in the chat box. Dear jury, we are now open for Q&A. Kalpana, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Great. Thanks, Dismas. I think you've developed a very interesting business model. So how many units are in place right now, and in how many villages have you piloted this model?
So currently we have 16 units, and we are only working in one province, which is in the eastern side of Kenya.
Great, fantastic. So I was wondering, have you considered a B2B, like a business-to-business approach, where you partner with other organizations that have deep networks with farmers? And the role of these organizations would be to identify the right villages and do farmer sensitization, while you focus on installing and operating the storage units. So that way, you're likely to achieve a scale rapidly.
Yeah, so I think that's the next phase of our development. And we are looking to scale because we have proven that we are successful in the eastern side of Kenya. So thinking about partnerships, and one of the reasons why we enroll for this competition is to get those networks and scale our product to other regions as well.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Kalpana. Next, I see Asia's hand raised. Asia, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Dismas, and thank you for your great innovation. I was just curious, how much does a unit cost?
So the smallest one costs from 3,500 US dollars, and it can fit around 200 crates per season.
And in your model, once the farmer has paid and has stored his goods in the unit, how does it then get to the city? What's the model behind it?
Yeah, sure. So we connect farmers with access to transportation, so which is refrigerated cooling, and we have an end-to-end model of from storage to logistics as well.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Asia, and thank you, Dismas. The second raffle question of the event is up on Site and Life's Twitter handle. @SiteAndLife. The question, who is the co-host for this event? Who is the co-host for this event? In order to answer, follow Site and Life's Twitter page, like the post, and comment your answer on the tweet. Detailed instructions are in the chat box below for your convenience. With that, we come to the last pitch for the night. Alejandro Ortega from Costa Rica. His company, Crick, uses insects to make delicious, nutritious foods. Alejandro's remarkable innovation is ready to operate at scale. Intrigued? Let's hear what he has to say.
So 50% is currently used for agriculture. Livestock industry is one of the major contributors to CO2 emissions in the world. And combined with the food industry and agriculture in general, they account for 45% of the greenhouse gases across the world. But even with this, by 2050, the amount of food available will not be enough to feed the world's population, 10 billion people that we would be at that point. So basically, what we are eating is killing us and is putting at risk our life on the planet. This is why at Costa Rica Insect Company, we decided to create healthy and sustainable food solutions to solve the biggest problems of the world. We decided to go with insects just because of FAO actually saying that is the food of the future. We decided to investigate a little bit more, and we found out that specifically crickets compared with livestock, they account for 2,000 times less water, 25 times less space, 12 times less food, and even 100 times less CO2 emissions. That they are also very, very healthy. For example, crickets have 3 times more protein, they have fiber, they have vitamin B12, zinc, and other essential amino acids for humankind. We decided to create a production model that was different just because of the needs that we saw here in our country, in Costa Rica. So we decided to create a model of production where we provided the greenhouses for the farmers and equipment. We decided to get an initial training and continuous support for the farmers, and then to buy 100% of the whole production. And then we decided for these farmers to be people in rural areas of the country, to help them more to come out of poverty, to get to become actually insect entrepreneurs, as we call them, and work together so we can create a better world, scale the production in a sustainable way, using just the weather and environment that is perfect where we have it. With this model and using insects, we're able to reach over 8 of the SDGs. Specifically, we focus on zero hunger, we focus on responsible consumption and production, and of course, on climate action. Why Costa Rica Insect Company? Well, we are compliant with the EU standard for production. We have partners with geographic proximity and partner credibility. The way that we process the insects is actually very important, where we reduce the impact by doing it in a pragmatic way and also increasing the food safety. The price points and the value added is very important for this to scale and to be a solution for the world. And then we are able to create more capacity and responsiveness thanks to our partner program. But as well, we have an insect diversification, and we are able to fulfill the needs of different raw materials. First, we started with the cricket powder, which is a food ingredient. Then we decided to create tailored innovation services for other companies. So now we're working with corporates in Costa Rica and internationally to create products like this cricket bread using our cricket powder. And then we are going to be creating chitosan extract and other innovative biomaterials and partnering with other big biotech companies. This is our market. Basically, we are focusing towards Latin America right now, which is growing very fast, but we're scaling towards Europe and North America. Maybe the need for insects is not perceived as big, but it's increasing very fast, and we know this is a product that will save the world. These are our achievements. So far, we're part of the Food Tech 500. We are part of the Forbes 30 Promises. Our biggest accomplishment so far is the National Insect Farmer Program, where we partnered with UNED, which is a public university in Costa Rica, from the Cooperación, Impact Hub, and IDB Lab, in order to get this program into a national level. We have been able to raise capital already, and we have even purchase orders confirmed for 1 year. This is our incredible team, and it's specifically great because of our passion to change the world. And thanks to these partners that we have from the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica, Holland House, Boston Consulting Group, and Accelerate 2030, we're able to save the world eating bugs. Thank you.
Thank you for the fabulous pitch, Alejandro. Show Alejandro how much you liked his pitch. The poll is now open. Please do give your suggestions in the chat box. Dear jury, we are now open for Q&A. I see Klaus has a hand raised for Alejandro. Klaus, do you want to ask your question?
Sure, thank you, and a very inspiring presentation. Alejandro, one question. Do you think that crickets has been sufficiently assessed for their nutritional value? I have come across a study from Wageningen University on the bioavailability of iron, which was poor from crickets. So there may be a high nutrient content, but it may not be used for nutritional purposes by the human body. Could you please elaborate a bit on that?
Thank you very much for asking that. And specifically, we have been working with the University of Wageningen since before we started the company. And well, my co-founder is specifically a nutritionist focused on public health, and she is very focused on these matters. And that's one of the reasons why we use them as a raw material, where we can actually extract the best materials and the best properties out of insects. And we provide it in a tailored way to the food industry so they can use it and take advantage of the nutritional value and the best advantages that cricket has without going into these kind of problems that we might have, as we have with any food in the planet, that we have to do it in a responsible way and in a balanced way to have a balanced nutrition, which is something that we focus too much on.
Great, thanks, Dr. Klaus. I see Kalpana's hand raised. Kalpana, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Maybe Namukolo first. She raised her hand before me. Namukolo, over to you, then I'll ask.
Okay, thank you very much. So my question is actually also nutrition related. You indicated on one of your slides that the crickets have 3 times more protein, but also you seemed to indicate that there is 2 times more fat. What type of fat is it in terms of health and fatty acid profile in comparison to beef or chicken? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. That's the kind of fat that avocado has, and it's actually a fat that we are looking forward to extract in the future, hopefully, because we can use it as the omegas and we can use it in other specific properties, but it's a good kind of fat. Of course, when we go ahead and process the materials into food ingredients, we are separating that fat, and that's why we are looking forward to use it in other purposes.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Alejandro. You made a terrific presentation, and thank you for sharing your journey. You're at an interesting point towards gearing up for scale. My question is around the price points and the affordability at CRIC. If you can unpack your value proposition, especially on price and affordability, would be wonderful.
Well, that's the best question. I love, as a marketing expert, that was my main concern at the beginning when we started. I said it has to be actually a democratic solution that is affordable to anyone, otherwise it wouldn't be a solution. So we kind of started with a pragmatic way of growing the insects, and with a cost strategy, so we could reduce the price. So far, our price point is at $40 per kilogram. And in Europe, it's at 70 or even 80 in some places. So it's half the way. According to the rest people or the rest companies in Latin America, they're around $60 per kilogram. In our case, again, 40. And just with this investment that we're receiving, we're going to be able to scale it, scale the production, and to get our price down to $20 per kilogram. We hope that in just in a couple of years, we actually make it very, very affordable to anyone in the world. And by partnering with people or organizations like GAIN, like the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, we can get it to the people that need it the most.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Alejandro, for that pitch. Next, we have one more finalist. Our next finalist is Kelvin Ogoli from Nigeria. AgroV upcycles food waste into low-cost animal feed and biofertilizer. Kelvin's breakthrough innovation is ready to operate at scale.
My name is Kelvin Ogoli, and I am the founder and executive director of AgroV. With more than 200 million people living in Nigeria, nearly 1 person in 3, especially pregnant women and children, have daily diets that lack protein, such as meat, fish, and egg. These deficiencies lead to malnutrition in children, weight loss, muscle fatigues, frequent infections, and other health complications in pregnant women. The root cause, according to Food and Agricultural Organization, is overdependency on corn, which has directly led to the high cost of animal feeds, which is the biggest problem, crippling the livestock industry and depleting the livelihood of over 50 million farmers and farming families in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. Nearly 70% of a farmer's rearing cost is feeds. And as a result, for a smallholder farmer, livestock rearing is fairly expensive, thus making animal source food like chicken, fish, and eggs unaffordable for low-income earners living on less than $2 a day. At AgroV, we pioneered a novel feed mix that lowers the cost of production for smallholder farmers, leading to more affordable animal source food while using planet-friendly techniques. We collect and upcycle food waste from breweries, food service organizations, and farms into animal feeds and biofertilizers for crops that is 30 to 40% cheaper. Our first success was some years ago when our product was approved and certified by the regulators. We can now produce feeds for poultry, aquaculture, swine, and other livestock. In the last 18 months, we've been able to bootstrap funds from friends and family and set up a feed mill and a laboratory approved by the Animal Care Service Council of Nigeria. And we're also one of the very first startups to receive this approval. Our feed mill is currently running at a 60% capacity. We're able to upcycle more than 10 tons of organic waste for 2,200 returning smallholder farmers, making animal protein affordable for over 60,000 low-income families. By doing so, we've also been able to minimize water and carbon pollution from breweries and factories. AgroV is likely to benefit from economies of scale. Raw materials is abundantly available in Nigeria. The market opportunity is big, with more than 500,000 farmers in Nigeria, and replacing existing feeds used by smallholder farmers alone is a $2 billion market. Today, we now seek this award to help us upgrade our factory, develop a demo farm where we can further test raw materials and feed mix for different species to further bring the cost down. And a small portion of this amount of money will be used for marketing and managing supply chain. Our goal is to help 1 million farmers produce affordable animal protein and make it accessible for over 100 million low-income earners across sub-Saharan Africa in one decade. Join us. AgroV, feed the farmer, feed the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kelvin. The poll for Kelvin is now open. And please do let him know how he's performed. And don't forget to comment in the chat box. Dear jury, we are now open for Q&A. I see a question from Alan.
Hi there. Thanks very much, Kelvin. That was very inspiring. I wonder whether you know whether farmers will pass the savings on to consumers. If it's cheap, it'll be cheaper for the farmers to produce their livestock. But is there any evidence that the farmers will pass on that saving and reduce the price of the meat that they sell to the consumers?
Right. Thank you very much for that question. And you know, when we started, that was one of the biggest hurdles we had to cross. And so what we did was to build, first of all, the farmers into clusters. So what that means is that we fix a fixed price when the farmers come to buy the feed from us. There's a fixed price that they need to sell this feed, right? So and also regularly, occasionally, we also communicate with these end users, the low-income earners from the communities where the farmers are currently residing. So we are able to control the amounts the farmers currently in our clusters are selling the feeds, and also getting feedbacks too from the end consumers.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Alan. Kalpana, I see your hand raised. Do you want to ask a question?
Yes, Kelvin, that is super presentation, and you have a very interesting business model too. Also, congratulations on overcoming a very important barrier in the feed industry, especially if it's climate smart ingredients included. That is, you obtained regulatory approvals for your feed mix. So my question is around your next stage as you go about scaling up your feed mill, but also finding the right customer. How do you prioritize your customer segments?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I didn't get any part of it.
Kelvin, what I mentioned is that your feed mix is applicable to a range of livestock farmers. Yeah? How do you go about prioritizing your customer segments? Which ones are you likely to?
Thank you very much for that question. So
maybe I can rephrase. Kelvin, which customer segment would you choose to address first, and why?
Okay, smallholder farmers. Smallholder farmers, because the reason for that is smallholder farmers produces more than 70% of the animal protein consumed in these communities, right? So, and smallholder farmers, they are the ones who have one-on-one contact with these end users. So for us, smallholder farmers are like the most important
Kelvin, you might want to repeat your answer. We lost you there for a bit.
Oh, great. Thank you. So for us, smallholder farmers are priority for now. Smallholder farmers are priority for now. Why? Because they are the ones who have direct access and contact to the end users. The low-income earners in this community who really need this protein.
Kalpana, were you able to get?
Yes, I got a sense. Yeah, I got a sense about the prioritization of smallholder farmers over other commercial farmers. Thank you, Kelvin.
Great, great. Thank you. Thanks, Kelvin. And that brings us to the end of all the pitches. We now wait for the awards to be announced. Dear jury, please join the other private call to select the winners. And audience members, we will have the winners in just 10 more minutes. Meanwhile, we are now opening the voting lines for the Audience Choice Award. You will see names of all the 7 finalists. I request all the finalists to please keep your videos on. And audience members, do vote for your favorite pitch and help them win the Audience Choice Award for the event. I would like to thank our sponsor, UNITLIFE, once again, and open the floor to Christina Ptitsina, Portfolio Specialist at UNITLIFE, to give us a short presentation about the organization. But before that, viewers, do not forget there are 2 more raffle questions to go, so do pay attention.
Thank you, Surajit. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. And first of all, a huge congratulations to the 7 finalists. It was extremely inspiring to listen to you. I'm gonna, on behalf of UNITLIFE, use the next few minutes just to introduce everyone to UNITLIFE. We're a new structure, so it's very possible many of you haven't heard of us yet. If I had to just use one sentence to describe UNITLIFE, we're a United Nations fund that is dedicated to the fight against chronic malnutrition using innovative finance. And I know we have a very mixed group in the audience, so I just wanted to say a few words about chronic malnutrition and why this is what we focus on. So chronic malnutrition happens when a child does not receive the correct balance of nutrients in the first 1,000 days of their life. This has lifelong consequences on their physical growth, their brain development, their immune system, and it also has an economic cost both to them as individuals and on their communities. It is irreversible, but it is preventable. And I think today we've heard some fantastic solutions that can contribute to preventing chronic malnutrition. And as you can see on the screen, 1 in 5 children around the world suffers from chronic malnutrition. And this really shows why it's urgent that we invest in solutions like the ones that were presented today. And this is why UNITLIFE was created, to inject new funding in the fight against chronic malnutrition. So how do we raise funds? As mentioned, really what we want to do is bring new money on the table. And to do that, we develop innovative partnerships with private sector companies. We do that globally, including with companies in affected regions themselves. And so typically we would have partnerships that look like sustainable, large-scale, micro-contribution partnerships. So once we have the money, what do we do with it? How do we invest it? We invest in projects that promote nutrition-sensitive and climate-smart food systems while placing women at the center. So I think that explains to you about why we're here today, when it was extremely important for us to participate in the contest. At the moment, we fund primarily international NGOs and UN agencies, but we're looking at expanding this in the future. And we make sure that all the projects that we look at are innovative, integrated in the wider ecosystem, and also sustainable. And so for the first few years of our existence, as we're created this year, we have given a focus to selected countries on the African continent. And I'm very excited to let you know that we're just about to disburse our first funding for a pilot project in Niger. So why Niger? In Niger, almost half of children suffer from chronic malnutrition. You can see on the screen some other quite worrisome numbers. And so we will be deploying $500,000 for one innovative project fighting chronic malnutrition on the ground. Last but not least, I just wanted to finish with a few words on the importance of global partnerships for innovation. UNITLIFE Secretariat is based at Station F in Paris, France. Station F is the largest startup campus in the world. And this means that every day my team and I, we are interacting with young innovators from France, but also from around the world who are creating the companies of tomorrow. And participating today with Sight and Life in this contest co-hosting was fundamentally important to us. We truly believe that the private sector has a fundamental role to play in the eradication of malnutrition. And so we're very happy and excited that we're able to provide, to contribute today to supporting the young innovators that we've seen. And I just wanted to end by saying that, this is not a one-off participation for us. We're looking at how we can continue to partner with Sight and Life as the leading think tank on nutrition and innovation in the future. And we are also looking at how we can support the contest winners going forward after today's event. And that's why we're currently discussing a potential partnership with a company that is in the audience today called Savio Ventures. And Savio has been investing in tech companies in sub-Saharan Africa since 2017. And what we like about Savio is that they believe early stage startups and profitability should not be an oxymoron. And right now we're looking at how we can support the finalists going forward. So do stay tuned, and to know what's ahead, you can follow us on Twitter at UNITLIFE.org or check out our website, www.unitlife.org. Thank you very much. Again, a huge congratulations to the 7 finalists, and back to you, Srujev.
That's such great news, Christina. Thank you so much for sharing that information. And hello, Savio Ventures, and fingers crossed for all of our finalists. And we really do look forward to a continued collaboration with UNITLIFE. And with that, it is now time for the third raffle question. The question is up on Sight and Life's Twitter handle, @SightandLife. In what country is UNITLIFE's pilot project located? Question, in what country is UNITLIFE's pilot project located? Option A, Guatemala. Option B, India. Option C, Niger. Follow Sight and Life's Twitter page, like the post, and comment your answer on the tweet. Next, I will ask Pooja Shering, Consumer Insight Specialist, and Keso Van Zutphen, Nutrition Specialist and Knowledge Manager from Sight and Life. They are excited about presenting in front of a large online audience, but I'm sure you, our dear audience members, are going to make them feel very comfortable. Over to you, Pooja and Keso.
Thank you, Srujit, for that introduction, and a big warm hello to everyone present here for being such a great audience. Just to start, just think, how is it that 1/3 of women of reproductive age today are anemic? How come mothers want what's best for their children, but 144 million children are still stunted worldwide? You see, the more you ask, the more malnutrition seems an iceberg. At Sight and Life, we pick apart this iceberg every day. Our story starts in 1986, at a time where famine struck Ethiopia, claiming hundreds of lives and leaving millions more destitute. A Swiss-based manufacturer of vitamin A well understood the link between malnutrition and eye disorders and grasped how quickly hunger might trigger widespread nutrition-related blindness. This led the company to create Sight and Life, a task force that aimed to address vitamin A deficiency in response to the urgent humanitarian needs of the Ethiopian famine. We delivered 2.5 million high-dose vitamin A capsules to this vulnerable population, saving children from the threat of nutrition-related blindness and death. Over time, we've systemically broadened our work from humanitarian relief to addressing malnutrition in all its forms. Today, Sight and Life has become an independent, well-respected, Swiss-based knowledge organization working across nutrition and the food system, with country offices in India, Rwanda, and Ghana. That's a brief history of how Sight and Life got started. Now Keso will walk you through our current day strategy. Over to you, Keso.
Thank you, Pooja. So what does Sight and Life do? Along with our partners, we use science to change the way nutrition is delivered to people who need it most. And we do this in the following 3 ways. First of all, we translate science. Site Life's strength lies in taking highly technical content and crafting actionable recommendations for non-technical audiences, keeping programs, policies, and participants always informed. Second, we build public-private partnerships. These can accelerate the private sector's engagement and maximize the impact of both the private and the public sector. With a rich experience in interactions with the private sector, as well as governments, multilaterals, and philanthropies, Site Life brings a unique perspective to these partnerships and is viewed as a trustworthy and honest broker by all sides. And third, we develop viable business models. Using consumer insights and unique approaches to both demand and supply, Site Life creates business models that are profitable or sustainably subsidized and increase the availability and desirability of nutritious foods. So, who is Site Life? We are a team of 20 passionate creative professionals with unique and complementary skill sets, including, but not limited to nutrition, science, design, marketing, policy, technology, public health, consumer experience, communications, and business. And what guides us throughout is a cross-disciplinary approach, because we know that malnutrition has many faces, many layers, and we need all minds on deck. So to learn more about how we win over malnutrition, one woman and one child at a time, we encourage you to check out our website to learn more about our projects, also to follow us on social media to stay in the know, and of course, to look up our elevator pitch contest website. Thank you so much for your attention. And now over to you, Srujit.
Thank you. Thank you, Pooja and Keso. That was excellent. And that brings us to the last raffle question of the event, ladies and gentlemen. The question, Site Life delivered 2.5 million high doses of which vitamin? Again, the question, Site Life delivered 2.5 million high doses of which vitamin? Question up on Twitter handle. Follow our page if you haven't already, like the post and comment your answer on the tweet. Great. We are waiting for the judges for a couple of minutes more. But meanwhile, I would love to ask all the finalists to switch on their videos, and this will be a fantastic time to take a screen grab and a virtual photo shoot of our first virtual elevator pitch contest. And I would really love it if the participants can switch on their videos as well. I don't think that's possible, but we'll go with the finalists for now. Yes. Are you ready? Keso and Pooja, can we have your videos on, please? Great, excellent. And in 3, 2, 1, say EPC.
EPC.
Yay, excellent. Thank you very much for that. We'll just be waiting for just a quick couple of minutes and for judges to come in. I think they're coming in, and we'll get back to you once we have them back. Meanwhile, how about this? Let's have one or two questions from the audience members. If you can put in your questions in the Q&A part, in the Q&A comment section. Audience members, if you have any questions, if any one of you are able to answer those questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and answer your questions. Dear audience members, do put in your questions to the finalists in the Q&A button. Ravi Prakash has a question for Kelvin. Kelvin, how do you standardize the feed as you acquire raw materials from different food wastes? Do you want to answer that question? Kelvin, can you hear us? I think Kelvin's unmuted.
Yeah, so how do I standardize the feed?
Yeah, how do you standardize the feed as you acquire raw materials from different food wastes?
Right, so first of all, we have a laboratory, right? And so every food waste we collect, either from the breweries, food service organizations, or on farms, right? They go through the different standard processes, right? So for each categories of feeds we make, whether we're making feed for poultry, which are the birds, or we're making feeds for aquaculture, or we're making feeds for small ruminant animals, right? There is a process each of these feeds goes through. So for each raw material that comes in from the breweries, food service organizations, they go through this process and we make sure that they meet the different standards. So we know the amount of protein each waste contains, we know the amount of fiber each waste contains. So when this process is achieved at the end of the day, this is what we now take into the factory for production. And we do that because we already did a test run from an already approved organization in Nigeria. So those laid down principles are what we are following to make sure that what we are producing, even though it's coming from organic food waste, it meets the standard of other commercial feeds in the market.
Great, thank you. I saw another question asking when the winners will be announced. Nola, do you want to answer that question? Well, I think we lost Nola.
No, I'm here. Hello, everyone. It's Nola. I am here with Sight and Life and handle the communications. And I'm so grateful for everyone participating on Twitter and in the chat box. This is amazing. And we have quite a few responses on Twitter. So I'm just going to go through them now and we will select the winners. So hold with me for 1 minute.
Wow, we are excited. Well, while we're waiting for Nola, maybe I can take one more question from the audience. This one is for Rio. Vanisha Nambiar asks, what is the bioavailability of vitamin A or beta carotene from moringa and seaweed from your product NRK? I'll repeat the question again, Rio, for you. What is the bioavailability of vitamin A and beta carotene from moringa and seaweeds for your product NRK?
All right, I got your questions, Richard. Thank you. For the vitamin E, to be honest, we don't take a look for the bioavailability because what we're focusing is the zinc, iron, and the protein here. And yeah, in the future, for the bioavailability of our products, of course, we will soon perform it after we validate the sensory profile that we want, the flavors that we want, and also the potential consumers that we might serve them. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm back with some winners here.
Yay.
So
Over to you, Nola.
I'm going to go with the ones with the fastest fingers here. So for the first question, we have Shweta Kandawal. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but you win the first question of what is the item on our EPC flyer, which the correct answer is the egg, the ever nutritious and climate-friendly egg. So we will be in touch with you over direct message. And I do like someone answered pineapple, which was fantastic and made me smile. The second question, we have Theo, Theo Dissingman. You guys are really testing my linguist skills here. You win the second question, and that second question was, what was it?
The second question, let me pull it up for you, actually.
Oh, how could we forget this one?
Who is the co-host?
Co-host.
Yes, who is the co-host for this event?
Our lovely friends at UNITLIFE. We thank you so much for taking part in this wonderful contest. And number 3 would go to Theo again. He's very fast. However, we're going to go to the second response on that, which has the handle of _Mikeys. So if you're listening, you won. Congratulations. And then the fourth question here, which is Sight and Life delivered 2.5 million high doses of which vitamin? And that vitamin is vitamin A. And the winner there is Anita Bake. So congratulations.
Great. Great. Nola, I have a question for you. When do these when do the winners get their award? I'm excited for them.
Me too. I'm furiously text messaging with the jury. they're coming back in just 3 minutes, they've told me. So I'm anxiously awaiting who wins here. It must be a tough decision. I mean, I can understand it's a very tough decision.
If the jury is deliberating so long, it would have been a very, very close call.
I think so. I think we should turn the music on for them as a wrap up.
Mm-hmm. I hope we have some drum rolls ready.
Well, finalists, since you have the floor here and the availability to speak, while we wait for the jury to come back, maybe you could share with us any questions you have, or perhaps what has been the highlight for you so far about your experience with the elevator pitch contest. Don't be shy. chime in.
I
Rio.
think Rio wants to speak.
I think so.
All right. Yeah, it's been fabulous. I mean, in this pandemic situation, we can still pitching our ideas for the world, and everyone is seeing right now broadcasting here. And it was very nice to get a lot of feedbacks, and also the committee has been helping a lot for this contest. So I'm very grateful and applauding for the hard work of Second Life and the UNITLIFE for preparing all of this. So yeah, that's my my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Rio. Really appreciate that.
Okay, I think I'm
Hi,
going to go.
Melissa. Would you like to share your experience?
Sure. So I think first of all, will Dennis go first? Is it okay I go first? So first of all, I'd like to thank you for all the committees, the Site and Life and the UNITLIFE. I'd like to tell the audience that actually this competition is scheduled on March, but now it's on August. So can you imagine how much the hard work the committee has done to move from the physical to the virtual mode? So I'd like to appreciate the committee for that. Thank you very much. This is so amazing. The committee has always been very helpful to us. Thank you so much. And I would like to also thank you to everyone who has come and supported us seven. Thank you very much from me, Gama Melindang team, to my lecturers and staffs of the Department of Health Nutrition, Universitas Gadjah Mada. Thank you so much for coming and supporting me fully. And I see lots of friends and then colleagues. Thank you so much. I've been seeing and reading all your comments. Thank you. Over to Dennis.
Thank you, Melissa. I see the judges coming in. And I guess we're waiting for Klaus to come in before we start, but one last experience sharing from other finalists. Does anyone?
Okay, so I think it was a great experience. Actually, the team was so available. They helped me refine my idea and my pitch and all. They were like always there for me all the time. Well, I didn't really interact a lot with the other finalists, but they all look great and they have like really great ideas. And I really feel inspired being around you guys. You know, like I am really grateful that you're all like I'm not in this alone. Like everybody's actually trying to make something, you know, make the world a better place. So I think in all, it was a really great experience, no matter what happens.
Great, awesome. And it's been an absolute, I think I can speak for the entire team at Site and Life and UNITLIFE when I say it's been an absolute pleasure for us to be able to go on this short journey with you and see your pitches being refined so beautifully. And we cannot wait for you to reach the stars, every single one of you. With that, I see the judges have come back. Jury members, I hope it was a very tough deliberation because you took time. The 7 finalists today have informed, inspired, and enthralled us with their pitches. Some of them are waiting to take wings and some of them are operating at scale. But every single one of them today held immense potential. And before announcing the winners, let's take a look at all the finalists again. And dear finalists, this is your moment. Do switch on your videos. Melissa Kartito from Indonesia. Dennis Nyarko from Ghana. Esnath Divasoni from Zimbabwe. Rio Luandra from Indonesia. Kelvin Ogoli from Nigeria. Dismas Kisilu from Kenya. And Alejandro Ortega from Costa Rica. I'm confident when I speak for everyone here and I say we cannot truly wait for you to reach the stars. With that, may I request Dr. Klaus Kramer, Managing Director at Site and Life, to announce the recipient of the Audience Choice Award. Klaus, over to you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm absolutely thrilled about this elevator pitch contest today. And it is a real great pleasure and privilege for me now to announce the Audience Choice Award. But before I do that, please allow me to quote an US basketball coach, Pat Summitt, who said once, "Winning is fun, sure, but winning is not the point. Wanting to win is the point. Not giving up is the point. Never letting up is the point. Never being satisfied with what you have done is the point." Today's elevator pitch contest and similar events are important moments in the career of a young entrepreneur to gain exposure and experience to constantly improve their pitch while the startup further develops. We all have sensed that you never let up, that you are never satisfied with what you have done. You are all winners today. The quality of all pitches was outstanding. Congratulations to all finalists. But still, we only can present one Audience Choice Award. And the winner of the Audience Choice Award today is Melissa. Congratulations, Melissa.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Congratulations, Melissa. Melissa, can you share a few sentences on how you're feeling now?
Of course, I'm excited and I'm so grateful to God. Thank you to everyone who has supported our team. Thank you so much. I think that's all I can say.
Great. Thank you very much, Melissa. Very well deserved. And for the Grand Jury Award, the winner of the elevator pitch contest, may I ask Asiya Sidibe, Program Manager at UNITLIFE, to do the honors.
Absolutely. So first of all, I would like to say that as a jury, we really felt that all the projects were fantastic. We were very impressed by all of you. That's why we took so long to come back, because it was very difficult to decide. But of course, there's only one winner. But as was said before by Klaus, do not give up, continue to work on your projects, be persistent, and of course, reach for the stars. That's really our hope when we organize such contests. Okay, so now I'll announce the winner. The winner for the contest is Solar Freeze from Kenya. Dismas, you're the winner. You convinced us that your project is feasible and scalable. We felt that your idea was inspiring. It's market driven, it's smart, it makes sense, and congratulations.
Dismas, a very huge congratulations for you.
Congratulations, Dismas. It's not
Thank
easy
you
with Zoom, but we're all happy.
Yeah. We'd have loved to throw confetti around if we could,
Yeah.
but we'd love to hear a few words from you, how you're feeling and what you think. Some reflections.
First of all, I'd like to thank Sight and Life for organizing this challenge, and also thank all the fellow contestants for the great work they are doing and making a difference in this world, and all the audience that has come to listen to these speeches. And even during this time of Corona, we hope that you are keeping safe and everything is going to go well. Thank you for believing in every entrepreneur and startup. And for Solar Freeze, we hope that we are going to keep serving more small-scale farmers and even more small-scale slum communities, especially in this time of Corona, providing them with cheap and affordable nutritious vegetables. And this award goes to show us that there's still more for us to do, and we are going to use that support to roll on our project to more communities who need us.
Thank you, Dismas. Truly, more power to smallholder farmers, more power to communities, and more power to entrepreneurs like you and all
Thank
of
you.
our entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we bring Sight and Life's 5th elevator pitch contest, the first ever virtual EPC that you were all a part of, to a close. I'd like to thank all the mentors, the jury members, the organizing team, and our sponsor, UNITLIFE, for a transformative event today, bustling with ideas. But more importantly, thank you, all the audience members who've been with us since the last 2 hours and who have participated from around the globe. Thank you very much and have a great, great day. Bye-bye.